there, Michael Stratton here. I am the author of The Effective Project Manager, and my website is effective-pm.com. Today's presentation is about the PM love language demystified, the secret to effective communication. So let's get down to business. The PM love language demystified. What do you need to know? Well, have you ever found yourself working with a project manager, but on first impression, he comes across as a wingnut? Well, perhaps he is, perhaps not. The truth is that project managers have their own love language. Now, never fear, because I'm here to demystify this project manager love language. If you follow my advice when communicating to a project manager, I guarantee that you will be on the same page in no time, and you will have a better connection instantly. Let's get started. It's not you, it's me. Well, let me tell you, this is the biggest BS line in the world. The truth is that it takes two to tango. You must meet people halfway when it comes to communication styles. Now, this presentation is all about how anyone can better communicate with a PM. But, listen, you project managers, you also need to make the effort to meet your stakeholders halfway and to figure out their love languages too. Here's the deal. Here is the basis for the PM love language. People simply can't consume multiple messages, and especially conflicting messages. Also, people can't multitask, so stop trying to get them to. So it's your job as a project manager to communicate clearly. For you non-project managers out there, it's your job to meet the project managers halfway. Now, for the remainder of the presentation, it will be from the viewpoint of a non-project manager and showing the non-PM tools to use in order to better communicate with project managers. Now, folks, here is the PM love language. This slide right here is absolute gold, so pay attention. The first item of the PM love language is be specific. Now, when a project manager asks a question, he asks a specific question. In return, he would like a specific answer. Now, it's not wise to beat around the bush with a project manager when communicating. Chances are your PM will tune you out until you say something important. If you're beating around the bush, or if you're wasting time, and by the way, wasting time is one of the top pet peeves for PMs, a PM will be able to see through it. A project manager speaks in specifics, they write in specifics, and they think in specifics. If you're asked a question by a PM, think about the words that you use when you respond. See, project managers are trained through their experience to lock on to specific words that you use. If you flippantly use a term like, disaster when talking about something, this is a trigger for the PM to ask more questions to determine why you think something is a disaster. You used the word disaster. You brought this on yourself. PMs are professional question askers and will not stop until your disaster is completely understood and broken down into simple building blocks. Here's the deal. Issues need to be isolated. Work needs to be compartmentalized. Findings need to be fully understood. The more specific you are with your PM, the better off you will be, and the less time you'll need to spend with your PM. Next, we've got action words. Action words indicate motion. Motion indicates progress. It means things are happening. It means work is happening. These are all good things to a project manager. When I send out meeting minutes, I have a section called action items. Each action item begins with an action word. Deliver this specific thing. Do that specific thing. Create this specific thing. Remove that specific thing. It doesn't matter. Research can be an action, however, it's too vague. Researching what will allow you to create this, right? Focus your action items on the end game. What is to be delivered? Research is not an action because it lacks a deliverable. What good does research do if you have nothing to show for it in the end? Try this. Create a top 5 list of the most difficult, challenging challenges facing your business today. Now, that is a good action item. This next item is use time frames. So now that you know what action is going to happen, you need to understand when it will be done. Don't be vague when working with your PM. That's the PM's job to be vague if needed when communicating to stakeholders. But the PM needs to always know the real deal and understand the real score. The only way to get to this is to tell the PM the exact truth regarding timeframes. Tell your project manager if you think a timeline is too aggressive. Tell your project manager if you think someone is sandbagging their estimates. An action item without a time frame is useless and not valuable. So ask yourself, I am going to complete X by X date. The next item on the list is to use simple language. And what I mean by that is use small words and small sentences. We may or may not have gone to college, but it doesn't matter. Use your elementary words because they come across easy to understand. There is zero reason to communicate complex items with complex language. If a third grader can't understand your point, try it again. Refine your point until it's extremely simple for anyone to understand. If I don't understand what someone is telling me, I'm going to ask. I won't let it slide. Your workday is too short to afford miscommunication, and a minor miscommunication can turn into a lot of unneeded work down the road. So, use simple language. The next item on the list is use formatting to your advantage. And what I mean by this is this may not necessarily be a speaking item, but when you are writing an email to someone else, use bullet points. And I mean use bullet points all the time. What you need to do is to group your thoughts together and make them easy to understand for the reader. And if you can read it easily, you can speak to it very easily as well. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because I've got a whole nother presentation just on formatting your emails. Next, talk about the end game. Talk about what it is that you want. See, projects fail because the what you're doing is not completely understood. This is a big project failure trigger. You need to understand what you want and where you want to go as a stakeholder. You have no business, and I mean no business, spinning up a project or getting a project manager involved without a clear direction. An experienced PM will enforce and require that your vision is understood. Otherwise, you are wasting a lot of people's time. So talk about the end game. Get it out there in the open. Make sure that your entire team understands what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So, in summary, here's the PM love language. Be specific, use action words, use timelines, speak simply, and write simply. And all of it shows that you've got focus. This will break down any communication barriers that you feel you may have with a project manager. Some PMs are better than others at deciphering language in order to get to the real deal, but don't make your project manager guess. This is what experienced PMs buy you. Also, experienced PMs buy you a lot less overhead on your project due to better communication. That's my story. That's the PM love language demystified. Thanks again for listening.